Good evening, workers, warriors, doom refreshers, and the one intern still holding together the Western administrative state with a shared spreadsheet and a stress rash. This is the 8-hour workday with Rex Haymarket, where every crisis somehow becomes your bill and their bonus. Tonight, Iran rejects Washington's peace plan, the Pentagon surges more troops toward the war, Americans start hearing the word draft in the back of their skulls, Cuba keeps sliding through blackout and blockade, and Elon Musk learns that not every rich person refusing to help him is committing a crime. According to Reuters, Iran has rejected the latest US proposal to end the war, with a senior Iranian official calling it one-sided and unfair. Reuters says the proposal followed nearly 4 weeks of fighting, and that Tehran still has not fully shut the door on diplomacy. The problem, shockingly, is that people being bombed are sometimes unpersuaded by a deal that sounds like, "Stop resisting and we may later discuss the privilege of continued existence." Reuters also reports that the proposal touched the Strait of Hormuz, and that the broader disruption there is now hitting oil, plastics, airlines, tech, tourism, and food systems. Another Reuters report says Wall Street slid as the market tried to guess whether this is de-escalation, escalation, or merely a fresh branding exercise for chaos. Oil rose sharply, while warnings mounted that the war was knocking the global economy off a stronger path. This is the bit where every television statesman says the word stability while setting fire to the price of diesel. When a fifth of the world's energy traffic sits under threat, it is not a regional story. It becomes your grocery receipt, your airfare, your fertilizer bill, and your next little lecture from some think tank ghoul about temporary inflationary pressure. The op-ed here is simple. If your foreign policy requires permanent brinkmanship, then your domestic policy becomes apology management. And somehow, the same people who cannot keep eggs affordable are forever available to redesign the Middle East. According to Reuters, the Pentagon is expected to send 3,000 to 4,000 soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East, while an earlier Reuters report said the US had already moved about 2,500 Marines and sailors aboard the USS Boxer toward the region. AP, meanwhile, reports that thousands more US troops neared the region as the war with Iran continued to widen and Washington and Tehran hardened their positions. Now, let us savor the official wording. No, they have not confirmed ground troops inside Iran. Yes, they are moving elite airborne troops into the theater. Yes, Reuters reports the administration has discussed options involving Iran's shoreline, the Strait of Hormuz, and even Karg Island, the hub for most of Iran's oil exports. Which is rather like saying, we haven't decided to enter the burning house, we're merely stacking ladders, axes, and accelerant outside. Reuters also reports the White House said no decision had been made to send troops into Iran itself, but the build-up would increase capacity for future operations. This is how mission creep dresses for television. First, it's support, then deterrence, then force protection, then securing shipping lanes. Then one island, then one port, then one limited ground action. Then suddenly every pundit who swore this wasn't Iraq is back on television. And because Empire is a subscription service, the bill lands at home. Reuters says the troop buildup comes as the Iran war has already killed US service members. AP says Americans are already worried about gas prices, while Trump keeps sending mixed signals about what comes next. My op-ed? If you're moving paratroopers and Marines into a war zone while refusing to clearly define the end state, you are not managing escalation. You are auditioning for it. Now to the story freaking normal people out. And I'm going to phrase this carefully, there is no announced US military draft right now. But the fear is real, and it is not coming from nowhere. Polling and reporting show that large majorities of Americans oppose a major ground war with Iran. In the Breaking Points transcript, Sagar and Crystal focus on the army raising the enlistment age to 42, easing certain barriers such as prior marijuana-related disqualifications, and connecting that to a broader sense that the state is widening the recruitment pool in the middle of a war. They frame the fear as less draft tomorrow than the system is preparing itself for more bodies if this gets worse. And that, right there, is the real story. Not a legal order. Not an official mobilization notice. A social mood. A public smell test. People watch troop numbers rise, hear the White House refuse to fully close the door on ground options, and then see military recruitment rules loosen in wartime. They do the arithmetic themselves. The public can smell a stair-step escalation. And here is the strongest angle, the class politics of all this. Volunteer militaries make it easier to wage long wars with less democratic consent because the burdens fall hardest on the people with the fewest exits. The poor, the indebted, the uninsured, the regions where the military is still sold as a stable ladder. Yet the machinery keeps humming. More deployments, more options, more patriotic throat-clearing from people whose own children somehow never seem to be first in line. If the state wants a war, it should have to look the whole country in the eye and ask for one. Not build it in increments. Not hide it in deployment schedules. Not slide from air campaign to regional posture to limited ground option, and hope the public only notices once the coffins come home. My op-ed? The most dangerous words in Washington are not draft starts tomorrow. They are not the current plan.
Because that is how the public gets softened up for the next sentence.
According to AP, Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel says Raúl Castro is involved in early-stage talks with the United States as Cuba faces nationwide blackouts, fuel shortages, and the ongoing consequences of the US oil blockade. AP also reports that UN officials warned the situation could become a humanitarian crisis, with emergency funding needed to address damage and with surgeries, vaccinations, and water access already being disrupted. Now layer on Reuters. Cuba's once vaunted public healthcare system is buckling. Doctors in the state system are earning wages so low they can scarcely survive, while surgical waiting lists are exploding and pediatric operations are short of medicine, oxygen, anesthesia, and basic supplies. And this is always the part the respectable classes manage to blur. Sanctions are described as pressure or strategic tools, right up until you notice the actual machinery of pain. Dark hospitals, delayed surgeries, water cutoffs, and doctors cooking food at dawn to survive before reporting to wards with no supplies. No, that does not mean the Cuban state is blameless. It means reality has more than one villain at a time, a difficult concept for people who think foreign policy is just goodies versus baddies with better fonts. And yes, this story fits the show because it is the classic imperial magic trick. Create material suffering, then market the suffering as proof the target deserved it. Efficient, cruel. And now the one that will likely travel the furthest because it involves oligarch melodrama, child harm, and the internet discovering that the law occasionally wakes up. Reuters reports that a US judge in Dallas dismissed X-Corp's antitrust lawsuit against the World Federation of Advertisers, ruling that X failed to show harm. Reuters says the companies argued they independently made business decisions based on brand safety concerns after Musk's takeover. At the same time, Reuters reports juries in the first 2 US trials over social media harm to children found Meta and Google liable. One case ended in millions in damages. Another led to a far larger judgment against Meta after jurors found it misled users about safety. Reuters says the cases challenge Section 230 by focusing on platform design choices. So let us savor the symmetry. On one side, Elon Musk says advertisers leaving his site was an unlawful conspiracy. On the other, juries say giant platforms may actually bear responsibility when they profit from addictive design and youth harm. One complaint is essentially, why won't the brands love me? The other is, did these companies knowingly design systems that damage children? Those are not morally equivalent problems. However much Silicon Valley prefers all scrutiny to be filed under innovation anxiety, my op-ed here is cheerful and brief. If your platform is engineered to maximize compulsion, monetize distress, and then hide behind old legal doctrine, you are not building community. You are building extraction with better UX, and if advertisers flee because you turned the site into a reputational sinkhole, that is called a market signal, not persecution. So that was the day. A war plan dressed as diplomacy, a troop surge dressed as caution, a draft panic born of class politics and official ambiguity, a blockade dressed as principle, and a platform economy discovering that consequence has not been fully abolished. This has been the 8-hour workday with Rex Haymarket, where every crisis somehow becomes your bill and their bonus. Like, subscribe, and return tomorrow for more headlines from the collapsing command center of late empire, where the markets are nervous, the spokespeople are lying, and the workers are, as ever, expected to absorb the blast.
Mind the static, mind the spin, and mind who profits.